FX Sports presents coverage of Lake Conference boys swimming. Tonight it's the Eden Prairie Eagles coming to Plymouth to take on the Wayzata Trojans. From Lifetime Fitness in Plymouth, John Jacobson along with Chrissy Melson. Chrissy, you and I had a chance to work a couple of girls' meets in the fall, and fun to see the boys here tonight as they end up in the regular season. This is the last regular season meet for Eden Prairie. Wayzata with one more non-conference meet on Tuesday against St. Louis Park.
Great to be back. Great to be at the pool here. Nice to see the boys get some coverage as they wrap up their season, regular season. Section
meets will come up second weekend in March for each of these teams. And we'll get right into it. It is the 200-yard medley relay, the junior varsity race. Each school with one team in this race. For Eden Prairie in lane 4, it's Julian Champagne, Jasper Hankey, Avi Moderetti, and Dane Bowles. And for Wayzata in lane 5, Theo Wynn leads it off, followed by Varun Nagapurkar, Daniel Vainberg, and Leo Kenigsberg. For Eden Prairie, 2 seniors, a freshman and a sophomore. Wayzata, a junior, 2 sophomores and a freshman. And head coach Damon Carrison said this is a little bit of a rebuilding team for Wayzata. Still very good and among the state's elite, but perhaps not quite as strong or not the depth that they've had in past years.
Right, yeah, extremely. They're young and they've got some kids with a lot of depth in that young, in their 8th, 9th grade kids. Very versatile.
We're midway through and it's going to be very close. Even up really as we get to the third swimmer. Eden Prairie comes in 4 wins in 5 meets. Wayzata's had 6 meets so far. They are 3-3 on the season. Moderetti has given Eden Prairie a lead here in this third length. Dane Bowles to follow for the Eagles. Leo Kenigsberg trying to make up some distance for Wayzata in lane 5.
He's made it, yeah, nice. He closed that gap pretty
yards
quick.
And Kenigsberg making up the distance. He pulls ahead and he'll get the win for Wayzata. For the last 15 yards or so.
A first-year freshman at Wayzata.
Look at the finish again.
So Kenigsberg gets his head down and drives into the finish. Nice job.
Winning time 1 minute 54.87 seconds for the Wayzata quartet. Now the boys varsity, each school's got 3 relay teams in it. Eden Prairie in lanes 2 through 4, Wayzata lanes 5 through 7. For Eden Prairie in lane 2, Eric Peterson, Luke Anderson, Brian Sheehan, Sam Aberg. Lane 3, Brian Hu, Ben Check, Wilson Ellis, and Dylan Yang. Lane 4, Luke Logue, Alex Deng, Artem Demidov, and Eric Howard. Wayzata. Lane 5, Charlie Snelson, Nick Kale, Jack Wilson, John Kirshner. Lane 6, Gray Cisco, Ethan Lee, Vade Parakuth, and Jackson Maroon. And in lane 7, Kevin Dye, Max Jervy, Max Carter, and Caden Howe.
So here we have a little preview of 2 of the top breaststrokers in the state. In lane 4 for Eden Prairie, Alex Dang, and in lane 5 for Wayzata, Nick Kale. They've traded state championships in the 100 breast, which we'll see later.
Now into swimmer 3 in Eden Prairie with the lead in lane 4. That's Artem Demidov ahead of Jack Wilson of Wayzata. Third place right now is the Eden Prairie relay team up in lane 3, just ahead of Wayzata's lane 6. Eden Prairie opening up a lead as we come to Eric Howard for Eden Prairie against John Kirchner, the 8th grader for Wayzata, the anchor leg for the top 2 teams in this race. Howard well ahead now as he'll come home first in lane 4. Kirchner will get Wayzata a 2nd place. It'll be a battle for 3rd. Dylan Yang up in lane 3. Jackson Maroon in lane 6. And Eden Prairie touches home first, then Wayzata. And then we get Wayzata in 5th place and Eden Prairie up in lane 2. And Sam Aberg coming in 6th place. The winning time again for the Eden Prairie relay, 1:37.06. Almost 4 seconds ahead of their runner-up from Eden Prairie. Look at the finish again. Chrissy?
So Wayzata is the reigning state champs, and in this event, not able to load up as they normally would here, taking the night to try some different things with a tough Eden Prairie team.
Won the state in the last 2 years. Of course, they had an outstanding swimmer by the name of Casey Still, graduated last year, but those other guys all coming back. But it's Eden Prairie getting the win in this night. And now we'll go to the 200-yard freestyle junior varsity. Eden Prairie with 2 swimmers in lanes 3 and 4. I'll give you the names in a moment. Lucas Johnson in lane 3. Mark Darrowin in lane 4 for the Eagles. For the Trojans, Sebastian Holtgren in lane 5. Dennis Krasnopiv in lane 6. Joshua Levin in lane 7. And Ekad Singh in lane 8. Slight lead for Holtgren on Darrowin. Third place right now, Lucas Johnson of Eden Prairie. Holtgren continuing to lead for Wayzata. He'll make the turn here halfway through. Continues to be Holtgren, Darrowin, and then Johnson. Wayzata, Eden Prairie.
He's got a nice lead going into the last 50 here.
Holtgren, his best time this year, 2:02.28. See how he comes out here tonight. He continues to lead. Mark Darrowin of Eden Prairie 2nd. Lucas Johnson in 3rd, just ahead of Dennis Krasnopiv of Wayzata. It's Holtgren that's going to touch home first. Darrowin is 2nd. In 3rd will be Lucas Johnson. Joshua Levin will take 4th. Krasnopiv of Wayzata in 5th. And Ekad Singh in late 8 coming in. Getting encouragement from Coach Carrison, getting those last lengths in to finish up. Winning time for Holtgren, a good time, 1:55.67.
Yeah, about 7 seconds off his prior season best. He had a nice even last 350s, 29 high, 30 low on those last 350s. Just how you want to see it split.
Next race, 200-yard freestyle varsity. 3 swimmers for Eden Prairie, 4 for Wayzata. For Eden Prairie, Charlie Folks in lane 2, Finn Block in lane 3, Gus Marin in lane 4, Matt Gendro of Wayzata in lane 5, Ilya Johnson in lane 6, Adam Liu in lane 7, and William Kervin in lane 8.
So Gendro is a former state qualifier in this event in prior years.
Very close. First 50. It's Ilya Johnson right now. Up in lane 6 with the lead, the senior.
And Johnson tends to be a fly backstroker, so.
Johnson with the lead. Marin in lane 4 in second. Gendro in third. Johnson, it's very close between he and Gendro, but Johnson definitely in the lead. Again, Marin in third, and Finn Block up in lane 3 is in fourth. And Gendro making up time, Chrissy, here, and now he has pulled ahead.
Yeah, a good turn there to take the lead.
Gendro ahead of Johnson. Marin in third for the Eagles. And it'll be Gendro finishing strong and getting the win. Eden Prairie getting 3 and 4. Wayzata Lou taking 5th, and Charlie Folks of Eden Prairie. And Curvin of Wayzata in 7th place. The winning time 1:48.06 for Matt Gendro.
So Gendro, a state qualifier in this event last year, he brought it home nicely.
Coach was telling us that he hoped to get both of his top kids under 150 tonight, and he did. Gendro with his top time this year, 1:48.06. Ilya Johnson at 1:49.02, getting second there. And then Gus Marin of Eden Prairie in third, his time 1:49.80. So we got Damon Carrison, the Wayzata head coach. A nice chat with him and sent us some notes about his team earlier today as we jump right into the 200-yard IM junior varsity for Eden Prairie. Avi Moderetti in lane 3, Eric Peterson in lane 4. Siddharth Waragatu of Wayzata's in lane 5. Daniel Vainberg in lane 6. Mitchell Wagner in lane 7. And Hari Chenabujula in lane 8. Waragatu and Peterson. It's Peterson right now out in front. Garagatu in second. Moderati of Eden Prairie in third.
So this event going to see some strengths and weaknesses, right? There'll be a couple lead changes or people pulling further ahead, falling a little behind based on their strengths.
Peterson opens up a nice lead here. Garagatu in second, just making the turn ahead of Moderati. I think this is a fun race to watch because you get to see a little bit of, I mean, you obviously get to see 4 different strokes and see which each swimmer, where their strengths are, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Eric Peterson had the top seed time coming up, and he's well out in front now. Top time on the season, or seed time rather, was 2:11.15.
So sophomore at Eden Prairie.
He is going to win this one.
We've got a tighter race for second here.
Moderati of Eden Prairie up in lane 3 in the lead. Waragatu of Wayzata in lane 5. Battling with Daniel Vainberg, his teammate. Mitchell Wagner not far behind them. Eden Prairie comes in 1-2, and then Wayzata will get 3 through 6. Third place is Daniel Vainberg of Wayzata, 2:25.94. The winning time for Eric Peterson, 2 minutes 13.68 seconds. He wins by nearly 11 seconds. Look at the finish again, and again it's Peterson well out in front. His teammate Moderetti, not even in the picture. There he is in lane 3, picking up second place, and then Vainberg down in lane 6 of Wayzata, just ahead of Baragatu, who finished 4th. Now 200-yard IM Varsity. Brian Shee of Eden Prairie in lane 1, Brian Hu in lane 2, Yash Solanki in lane 3, Alex Deng in lane 4, Kevin Dye of Wayzata in lane 5, Max Jervy of the Trojans in lane 6, Leo Kenigsberg of Wayzata, freshman, in lane 7. It is Alex Deng in front, just ahead of his teammate Solanki. Those two 1-2, and in third place now, Brian Hu of Eden Prairie in lane 2. And they may have fourth place as well. Looks like Brian Shee of Eden Prairie just ahead of Alex Deng, or excuse me, of Kevin Dye of Wayzata. It's Deng out in front right now, opening up a little more lead.
And Deng has a strong breaststroke here, so this is a strength of his.
One of the state's best, finished in the top 4 last year in the state.
I think
Deng finished second. Kale finished 4th last year at state. And you can see what a lead he opened up through the breaststroke. Well out in front. Eden Prairie right now 1, 2, 3, and it's a battle for 4th place, but Deng well out in front, Solanki, and then Shee in 3rd place. See Deng not quite a full length ahead, but he's 15 to 18 yards ahead at the end, and he ends up taking first.
And he broke the pool record, formerly a 155.28, breaking the pool record with a 154.91.
Second place is Yash Solanki of Eden Prairie. Third place up in lane 1 was Brian Shee of EP. And in 4th place in lane 6, Max Jervy of Wayzata. Kevin Dye finishes 5th. 154.91. Breaking the pool record set by the great Kurt Carlson, outstanding swimmer at Maple Grove High School, set in 2007. The pool record stands for 14 years, and congratulations to Alex Deng for the win here tonight. And that record-setting time.
And even though she finished 3rd, lanes 1 and 8 are going to be exhibition tonight. So anybody swimming in lane 1 or 8 is an exhibition swimmer.
Got it. Thank you. Kelly Boston, head coach at Eden Prairie. Good team this season. Last year finishing in the top 5 at state, as did Wayzata. And a little more depth this year. It's the 50-yard JV freestyle. Luke Anderson, Tanai Solanki, Ben Check, and Sam Aberg for Eden Prairie. Caden Howe, Alex Eisner, Owen Taylor, and Veer Gadhope for Wayzata. Up in lane 3, it's Ben Check of Eden Prairie, touching home first. 24.03 seconds is his time. Second place, Tanai Solanki. also of Eden Prairie. And in third place in lane 5 was Caden Howe. His time 24.44 seconds.
So a lot tighter of a race than we've seen, than we saw in the IMs. Second through fourth separated by 15 100ths.
.50-yard freestyle varsity next. Again, as Chrissy just mentioned, swimmers in lane 1 to 8 will not gain points for their team, just swimming exhibition. It's John McMahon in lane 1, Matthew Lillard in lane 2, Eric Howard in lane 3, Luke Loeb for Eden Prairie, that's 1 through 4. Nick Cale of Wayzata in lane 5, John Kirchner, Jack Wilson, and Jackson Maroon in lane 5 through 8 for Wayzata. It is Cale and Loeb battling for first place, and Cale gets there first with a winning time of 22.2 seconds. 22.35 for Luke Loeb, takes second place.
So Cale, a state qualifier for Wayzata last year.
Eric Howard of Eden Prairie comes in third, and John Kirchner of Wayzata is fourth. So we get Cale in lane 5.
So on the 50 free, you're going to see they're going to put their head down. They're not going to breathe a lot and get into that wall. You'll see a nice wave follow them in.
Cale, an accomplished swimmer. He's happy with the win. So diving was held earlier today. Normally in a meet we would have diving at this point, but with the way things are with COVID-19, one of the things they did was, okay, we'll have diving separately. That was held at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Henry Ross of Wayzata won the diving, 249.3 points in his 6 dives. His teammate Nick Hasteman finishes second. So now we have the swim warm-up, the second warm-up before we get to the second part of the meet. The 100 butterfly, JV and Varsity will be next. We will take a break. We'll come back, more swimming from Lifetime Fitness in Plymouth on CCX after this.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
John Jacobson back with Chrissy Melson at Lifetime Fitness in Plymouth, ready for the second half of our swim meet between Eden Prairie and Wayzata. It's the 100-yard butterfly junior varsity for Eden Prairie in lane 2, Ben Plouffe, Brian Shee in lane 3, Brian Hu in lane 4, Siddharth Garagatu in lane 5 for Wayzata, Joshua Levin in lane 6, and Owen Taylor in lane 7. Slight lead up in lane 3 for Brian Shee ahead of Brian Hu. Goragatu of Wayzata just behind his teammate Joshua Levin in lane 6. Up in lane 2, Ben Plouffe.
So we saw Shee and Hu earlier in the 200 IM.
Hu comes home first. Shee is second. In third place, Joshua Levin in lane 6. And fourth place, Ben Plouffe of Eden Prairie. Followed by Siddharth Goragatu and Owen Taylor. Waiting time 58.19 seconds for Brian Hu.
So in the butterfly events and the breaststroke events, you'll see the swimmers finish with 2 hands on each wall. That means into the turn and into their finish.
100-yard butterfly Varsity. Sam Aberg of Eden Prairie in lane 2. Artem Demidov in lane 3. Yash Solanki in lane 4. For Wayzata, it's Jack Wilson in lane 5. Max Carter in lane 6. Vade Parakuth in lane 7. And swimming exhibition in lane 8. Ray Cisco.
Couple up-and-comers for Wayzata in lane 6, Carter, an 8th grader, and in lane 8, Cisco, a 9th grader.
Right now, Eden Prairie running 1-2-3 with Yash Solanki in first. Demidov is second. And Aberg third. Wayzata's top swimmer, Jack Wilson, in lane 5, running in fourth. Solanki is going to win this one. Demidov in second place. Aberg in third. Wayzata's top swimmer, Jack Wilson, in fourth. Close for fifth place, and winning was Vade Parakuth in lane 7, just ahead of Max Carter. Winning time 53.41 seconds.
So Eden Prairie 1, 2, 3.
Eden Prairie showing not only good talent at the top, but good depth so far, and
right.
They're ahead in this meet as we expected.
So you've got Solanki. He finishes 53.41, just off his seed time of 53.00.
Next race is the boys 100-yard freestyle junior varsity. Exhibition swimmers in lanes 1 and 8. For Eden Prairie, Julian Champagne in lane 1, Dane Bowles in lane 2, John McMahon in lane 3, Dylan Yang in lane 4. For Wayzata, Theo Wynn in lane 5, Hari Chenabujala in lane 6, Alex Eisner in lane 7, and Rashab Matasami in lane 8. McMahon and just behind McMahon just ahead of Dylan Yang and teammate. The win of Wayzata running third as they come and make the turn. It is John McMahon and Dylan Yang running 1-2. It's like Yang will win in lane 4. McMahon is second. Third place, the win of Wayzata. Winning time 52.50 seconds for Yang, finishing 16 hundredths of a second ahead of John McMahon. His teammate Theo Wynn, as I mentioned, in third at 56.56 seconds. And in fourth place, Alex Eisner of Wayzata in lane 7. 57.30 is his time.
So Yang and McMahon about 4 seconds ahead of the rest of the field.
"100-yard freestyle varsity. Today, Solanki, Matthew Lillard, and Wilson Ellis for Eden Prairie in lanes 2 through 4. Jackson Maroon, Caden Howe, Ethan Lai, and William Kervin swimming exhibition down in lane 8 for Wayzata. Eden Prairie also with a swimmer in lane 1. We did not get his name on the program we were given before the meet. It's Wilson Ellis of Eden Prairie leading in lane 4. Lillard and Tanae Solanki. Eden Prairie 1, 2, 3 again. Wilson Ellis, Eden Prairie, is seed time 50.41. Now here comes Lillard in lane 3, and it's Lillard getting the win just ahead. Strong finish the last 10 yards, Chrissy, to get the win for the Eagles.
Came in just a little behind.
50.09 seconds is winning time. Ellis then at 50.33. And in third place, Tanae Solanke in lane 2. So Eden Prairie going 1, 2, 3 again. And top Wayzata finisher was Jackson Maroon in lane 5 and 53.2. Now our longest event of the night, we've got the 500-yard freestyle, junior varsity and varsity to follow. 2 swimmers for each team in the JV. Lucas Johnson of Eden Prairie in lane 3, Jasper Hankey in lane 4, and for Wayzata, Daniel Vainberg in lane 5, Dennis Krasnopiv in lane 6. Because we talked about this during the girls' swim season. It's a race of endurance, but it's a lot physical, some mental too, and strategy involved, and how fast you put yourself out, and you know, when you make a push if it's a close race.
Right. It's this is the longest event on the high school itinerary. There are some longer events in swimming at the club level. So this is a long sprint event for some of these guys. 20 lengths of the pool. You'll see their teammates counting the odd lengths. So they're on their 3rd length right now. Their counters can talk to them via their coaches. So the coaches might give them some signs to have them pick it up, and then they'll flip the cards over or whatever they've agreed on.
Right now it's Jasper Hankey, the Wayzata, or Eden Prairie senior rather, in first place. Lucas Johnson of Eden Prairie 2nd. Vainberg in 3rd, and Krasnopiv in 4th. But it's pretty close, 2 through 4 right now, with Jasper Hankey certainly opening up a lead, but still early in this race.
So at about this point, you'll start to see them settle in to a nice, consistent pace.
What was your favorite race to swim?
Probably the 100 fly.
Yeah. Did you do many distance events?
No.
No. Yeah. Just watched.
Just
your
watched.
teammates. Jasper Hankey, last lap, 33.75 seconds. The coach, what are you looking for? You want those times to increase or pretty much stay steady?
At about the 150 marks, so after 350s, after 6 lengths of the pool, start to see them settle in to a nice, consistent pace. So he's 33 again, 33.38.
Daniel Vainberg of Wayzata now in 2nd place. About half a lap behind. He's just ahead of Lucas Johnson. Krasnopiv in lane 6, not far behind. But definitely it's been Hankey right from the start. Again in that 33 number, 33.98. $35.15. And that 50 for Hankey, or for Vainberg rather. Jasper Hankey of Eden Prairie in first. He's out in front, has 100 yards to go here in the 500. Daniel Vainberg of Wayzata second. Excuse me, Chrissy.
Slipping off pace just a little bit, but it looks like he's picking it up here. You want to find that line where you don't have a lot left at the, just enough left to hold that consistent pace.
Bell lap for Hankey. He's got 50 yards to go.
So about a second faster than his previous 50.
Vainberg of Wayzata second. Johnson of Eden Prairie in third, but they're close. About a second apart. Hankey leading from start to finish. He is going to win this by about 22 yards. And a race for second. Daniel Vainberg of Wayzata trying to hold off Lucas Johnson. And Vainberg looks like he will come in second. Johnson in third. Dennis Krasnopief in fourth. Pretty close 2 through 4 there. Well out in front by 14 seconds. Jasper Hankey, winning time of 5 minutes, 28.91 seconds for the senior Jasper Hankey. Look at it again.
So Hankey finishing about 9 seconds in front of his seed time.
Vainberg mentioned is second at 5:42.5. 500-yard varsity coming up. Exhibition in lane 1 is Eric Peterson of Eden Prairie. Mark Darwin in lane 2. Finn Block in lane 3. Gus Marin in lane 4 for the Eagles. For Wayzata, Matt Gendro in lane 5. John Kirchner in lane 6 and Kevin Dye in lane 7.
So Gendro from Wayzata, a state qualifier in this event prior years.
Seed time 4:56.56.
So in swimming, they have one opportunity to qualify for the state meet. They can swim the state time, qualifying time, any point in the season, but it doesn't matter until their section meet. So they have to go that time at the section meet to move on to the state meet. Or finish in the top 2 in their section.
Section meets coming up in 3 weeks. Eden Prairie is part of Section 2AA. They'll compete at Chaska. Wayzata part of Section 5AA. They will compete at Minnetonka Aquatic Center. Good even pace so far and a good even race so far, Chrissy. Gendro and Gus Marin, Wayzata and Eden Prairie, respectively, 1-2. Finn Block very close. Block may even be a touch ahead. It's very close between those top 3 guys in lanes 3 through 5 so far, and not far off the pace. Darwin in lane 2. And Peterson swimming exhibition up in lane 1. 7 lengths to the pool. Slight lead for Marin. Gendro and Block right with them, though. It is pretty even.
Yeah.
To come here to 200 yards.
You'll see them kind of push each other You'll see a little bit slower tempo in the stroke and the kick rate than from the 50 or 100 free, which we've already had this session.
Now Marin in lane 5 has pulled ahead slightly. Gendro, though, now pulling even. Finn Block now is just stroke behind those two.
Gendro been consistent, 30.9 these last 350s.
Gendro and Marin. Block in 3rd place. In 4th, Mark Derwin up in lane 2. Pretty much a dead heat, though. Gus Marin, Matt Gendro, Eden Prairie, and Wayzata. Lanes 4 and 5.
So 200 yards left, not quite. Gendro starting to kind of make a little bit of a move, but Marin's hanging right with him.
Marin now a stroke ahead of Gendro. Block making up a little time up in lane 3. Make the turn. Marin ahead. Not a big lead, but probably the biggest lead he's had so far. That's how close it's been between those top two guys. $125 yards to go here in the 500. Now Gus Marin a little more of a lead on Gendro. 29.33 is split.
It's about a second faster than his previous splits.
Two juniors battling it out. It's Gus Marin of Eden Prairie in the lead.
So now you see both their kicks pick up, their tempo picks up.
50 yards to go. Gendro now with 2-second lead on, or excuse me, Marin with a 2-second lead on Gendro. Gus Marin has really come on strong here the last 150 yards or so to pull ahead. Now 25 yards to go. Looks like he will win. Marin finishing strong. He is going to win the 500-yard varsity meet. And it's Matt Gendro coming in second in the 500 free. Finn Block of Eden Prairie in lane 3 will finish third. Mark Derwin of Eden Prairie is fourth. John Kirchster of Wayzata touches home next. Kevin Dye down in line 7 for Wayzata. But the winner in 4 minutes, 59.44 seconds is Gus Marin of Eden Prairie in lane 4. Wins the 500-yard free.
So Marin took that commanding lead the last 150. Right off his seed time, 4:59.44.
Good race there. Another win for Eden Prairie as they continue to do well in this meet here against the Trojans. Then they came in with a 4-1 record on the season. Wayzata at 3-3. Next up, the boys 200-yard free relay, junior varsity. Lane 3 for Eden Prairie, Dane Voles, Avi Mataretti, Lucas Johnson, and Yash Dagabe. Lane 4, Charlie Folks, Julian Champine, Mark Derwin, and Finn Block. For Wayzata in lane 5, it's Hari Chenabojula, Alex Eisner, Joshua Levin, and Varun Nagapurgar. And in lane 6, Veer Gadhope, Dennis Krasnopi, Rashab Matasami, and Owen Taylor. It is close. Eden Prairie and Wayzata. Wayzata perhaps with the top. Just a touch of a lead there. Now we come into the third swimmer. That's 11 for Wayzata and 0 in for Eden Prairie.
So in the relays, the swimmer in the water has to touch before the swimmer on the blocks can go, but the swimmer on the blocks can be moving as long as their feet stay in contact with the blocks until the person in the water has finished.
Naga Burkar, the anchor for Wayzata. Block for Eden Prairie. Block in the Eagles. Going ahead here, and they finish 1-2-3 up in lane 3. It was Yash DeGade of Eden Prairie who got there first at 137.31. Then Eden Prairie's relay in lane 4 and Wayzata in lane 5. So it's the team of Voles, Moderetti, Johnson, and DeGade who finish in first for the Eagles. Time of 137.51. .200-yard free relay varsity is the next event. Wayzata had 3 teams listed originally, but now just 2. So we're going to go with the racers they had listed in each lane. For Eden Prairie in lane 2, Luke Anderson, Ben Check, Danae Salunki, and Gus Marin. In lane 3, Dylan Yang, Matthew Lillard, John McMahon, and Sam Aberg. Lane 4, Alex Ding, Yash Salunki, Wilson Ellis, and Eric Howard. For Wayzata in lane 5, Mac Gendro, William Kervin, Ethan Lai, and Adam Liu, and Max Jervy. Siddharth Gara 2, Vade Parakov, and Mitchell Wagner in lane 6.
So we saw Gendro lead off Wayzata's lane 5. He just swam the 500. And then we're going to watch Marin from Eden Prairie anchor lane 2. So he's the 4th swimmer in lane 2. Both of them just went head-to-head in that 500.
Eden Prairie with a sizable lead. That's the team of Deng, Salonki, Ellis, and Howard. Eric Howard into the pool. He is well out in front for the Eagles. Sam Aberg, the 4th swimmer for Eden Prairie in lane 3, is running 2nd. Eric Howard will touch first. The Eagles will get 1, 2, and will be close for 3rd place. Wayzata will touch home first for 3rd, as Adam Liu gets home first. Gendro, Kervin, Lai, and Liu for Wayzata getting 3rd place. The winning time for Eden Prairie's winning relay 129.73.
So Eden Prairie takes a sizable lead there and hangs on throughout.
Our next event, 100-yard backstroke, junior varsity. For Eden Prairie, Dane Voles and Julian Champagne in lanes 3 and 4. For Wayzata, Leo Kenigsberg, Charlie Snelson, Theo Wynn, and Kat Singh in lane 8, swimming exhibition for the Trojans. Sure, if we're waiting for another swimmer, that's what the roster program gave us, was 2 swimmers for Eden Prairie and 4 for now Wayzata. Now we're ready to go. Charlie Snelson in lane 6 for Wayzata with the early lead.
So Snelson is a state qualifier in this event for Wayzata, has had a few setbacks this season.
Swimming this race, JV. Got a nice lead. His teammate Königsberg is second. And in third, it's Wynn and Wayzata battling Champagne of Eden Prairie. Snelson will come home. He will get the win here in the 100-yard backstroke. JV and Königsberg will finish second. Win of Wayzata will outtouch Champagne, so Wayzata goes 1-2-3 in this event. Winning time for Charlie Snelson, 57.03 seconds. Look at the finish again for Charlie Snelson.
So in backstroke, they have to finish on their back. You can dive down and in.
His first swim this season in that event, and he wins it. Next up, 100-yard backstroke varsity. For Eden Prairie, Ben Plouffe in lane 2, Artem Dedemdorf in lane 3, Luke Logue in lane 4. For Wayzata, Ilya Johnson in lane 5, Max Carter in lane 6, Sebastian Holtgren in lane 7, Gray Cisco of Wayzata swimming exhibition in lane 8. Logue with the seed time of 52.69. Ilya Johnson's best time this season in this event, 56.46 seconds.
Johnson also a state qualifier in prior years in this event. Carter and Cisco up and comers for Wayzata with a lot of versatility in what they can swim.
Logue of Eden Prairie will come home in first place. Demidov, his teammate, in lane 3 will be second. And then Ilya Johnson of Wayzata finishing in third place. We're pretty close between 4th, 5th, and 6th. But in lane 4, it is Luke Logue getting the win, the sophomore, in 52.47 seconds. Look at the finish again. And the first two swimmers from Eden Prairie, Logue and Demidov. For Johnson, Wayzata comes in third. Next up, boys 100-yard breaststroke, junior varsity. For Eden Prairie, Josh DeGrade in lane 1, swimming exhibition. Then it's Jasper Hankey, Abai Mederetti, Luke Anderson in lanes 2 through 4. Mitchell Wagner of Wayzata in lane 5. Rune Narapurkar in lane 6. And Veer Gadhoek in lane 7.
So in the breaststroke, unlike the other 3 strokes, you'll see them push off the wall and do an underwater pull. Whereas in the other 3 strokes, they dolphin kick off the wall, and they can go until the far red buoy underwater. So you'll see them coming up on it right now. They could have gone that far underwater.
It's Luke Anderson of Eden Prairie in first place. Jasper Hankey, his teammate up in lane 2, is second. Third place is Wayzata's Varun Nagaprokar. And the winner, the time of 1:06.69, is Luke Anderson. And Hankey is second. Nagaprokar in third. Josh DeGate up in lane 1. Swimming exhibition, getting to the finish. Getting just as much encouragement as that first swimmer that comes in, which is always great to see.
Yeah.
Anderson, the winner, he comes in 1:06.69. Jasper Hankey not far behind, less than a second behind in second place. Next one should be a good one. 100-yard breaststroke varsity. Watch for Alex Deng in lane 4 for Eden Prairie. Nick Kale of Wayzata in lane 5. Deng finished second at the state meet last year. Kale finished 4th. The full field, Charlie Folks, Ben Check, and Alex Deng for Eden Prairie in lanes 2 through 4. For Wayzata, Nick Kale, Max Jervy, Ethan Lai, and Adam Liu, swimming exhibition down in lane 8.
This is the stroke that you'll see the most difference between each individual. Right now we have 7 people in the water. You can see 7 different breaststrokes.
Deng ahead of Kale halfway through the race.
About half a second ahead.
Alex Deng, one of the state's best, already set one pool record tonight. Pool record in this event is 58.33 seconds.
His own.
His own, that's right, set 2 years ago. Deng ahead of Kale. He'll come to the finish.
He should get that.
And his time is 56.54 seconds. New pool record by nearly 2 seconds. Broke his own record set in 2019. Alex Deng is first. Nick Kale is second. Congratulations to Alex Deng, the second pool record tonight here at Lifetime Fitness. 56.54 seconds his time. Nick Kale's time of 57.88 also breaks the pool record previously set by Deng. Third place was Ben Check of Eden Prairie, and Charlie Folks of EP in 4th. But a great race. Deng 56.54, Kale 57.88. Again, the pool record before tonight was 58.33 set by Kale. Or by Deng rather. Kale has the school record still set last year, 55.31 seconds. Final event of the night, JV and Varsity, boys 400-yard free relay. Eden Prairie in lane 3, Eric Peterson, Lucas Johnson, Jasper Hankey, and Yash DeGade. In lane 4, Mark Darrow and Ben Plouffe, Brian Shee and Brian Hu. For Wayzata, Siddharth Gargotu, William Curvin, Josh Levin, and Gray Cisco. Alex Eisner, Dennis Krasnopief, Theo Wynn, and Daniel Vainberg in lane 6. And in lane 7, Hari Chenavajula, Rashib Madasami, Rak Singh, and Owen Taylor. Eden Prairie, he in the lead. Brian Shee ready to hit the pool for EP. They have the lead right now going 1-2. Wayzata close between their relays in 5 and 6 for third place. Levin gaining some ground for Wayzata down in lane 5, very close. And now Wayzata has pulled ahead. Strong third stroke here for Wayzata by Joshua Levin. Grace Cisco will follow him up.
I think this is actually curving.
Wayzata in front in lane 5. Eden Prairie in lane 4 finishing or in second right now. We've also got the third place team up in lane 3. It is going to be a close finish as we come down here, final yards. And Eden Prairie with, no, we still got one length to go. Got too excited there, Chrissy.
They've got one more swimmer too.
Eden Prairie, though, has pulled ahead here.
So this is their third swimmer. They've got a fourth.
All right, now I'm back on track with Brian, who is now in the pool for Eden Prairie, their fourth swimmer. Now Grace Cisco replacing Josh Levin in lane 5 for Wayzata. Eden Prairie 1, Wayzata 2. Eden Prairie's relay up in lane 3. Brigade, their anchor, just got out touched now. Wayzata has taken over third place.
Cisco closing that gap a little bit.
Who makes the turn in front? Cisco. A couple of yards behind him. And it'll be Brian Who that'll touch home first. Grace Cisco for Wayzata comes in second place. Wayzata will take third place. Daniel Vainberg out in lane 6. A touch home for third. Gate of Eden Prairie up in lane 2. Just ahead of Wayzata's last swimmer in lane 7. That's Owen Taylor. Now Taylor is pulling ahead. Taylor is going to come home and get the next finish here. Fourth place for Wayzata. Winning relay time for the EP team of Darwin, Plouffe, She, and Who. 3 minutes, 42.02 seconds. Just mention Alex Ding's pool record in the 100 breaststroke set a couple of minutes ago, as you see the Eden Prairie team winning. Wayzata just behind them, less than 2 seconds. Last race of the night, 400-yard free relay varsity. Eden Prairie in lane 2, John McMahon, Dylan Yang, Tanae Solanki, and Charlie Folks. Lane 5, Artem Demidov, Gus Marin, Matthew Lillard, and Finn Block. Lane 4, Yash Solanki, Eric Howard, Wilson Ellis, and Luke Logue. For Wayzata in lane 5, Ilya Johnson, Matt Gendro, John Kirchner, and Nick Kale. Lane 6, Jackson Maroon, Jack Wilson, Sebastian Hultgren, and Leo Kennisberg. And in lane 7, Caden Howe, Kevin Dye, Max Carter, and Vade Parakouf. Yaslanki, first swimmer for Eden Prairie, getting his team in lane 4 off to a good lead. Close race for second. Eden Prairie got in just ahead. Gus Marin running the second leg. Gendro for Wayzata. Eric Howard turning with the lead. Gendro of Wayzata and Marin of Eden Prairie on either side of him, battling for second. Howard, strong swim. He'll give way here to Wilson Ellis. John Kirchner in for Wayzata. Matthew Millard in lane 3 for Eden Prairie.
So Wayzata just a slight lead on second here.
Ellis with the lead. Yes, Kirchner just ahead of Millard. Wayzata running 4th and 5th as well. Holtgren and Carter, the third swimmers, in lane 6 and 7. But Eden Prairie continues to lead. Wilson Ellis stretching that lead for the Eagles. He'll give way to Luke Logue. Sophomore last in the pool for Eden Prairie. Finn Block for Eden Prairie in lane 3. Nick Kale for Wayzata in lane 5. Leo Kenigsberg in lane 6 for Wayzata. Vade Parakuth. Lane 7. Charlie Folks in lane 2 for EP. Luke Logue continuing a strong stroke and a strong relay. Kale getting an edge on Block for second place. Logue down the stretch. He is going to win it for Eden Prairie. Kale and Block, a battle for second place. It'll be Kale of Wayzata just getting home a touch ahead of Finn Block up in lane 3 for EP. The winning time, 3 minutes, 17.76 seconds for the team of Yas Solanke, Eric Howard, Wilson Ellis, and Luke Logue, edging out Johnson, Gendro, Kirchner, and Kale of Wayzata. They got second place, 6 seconds back in that team, just ahead of Demidov, Marin, Lillard, and Block, who finished third.
So Block and Kale had the same split on the last 50, but Kale still outtouched him for second.
Good finishing meet for Eden Prairie here in their last leg conference meet, and now it's taper time till you come up for sections in a few weeks here.
Yeah, yep, a few weeks. So they probably have another week of work and then start taper down from there. Same with Wayzata.
We'll take a timeout. We'll give you the final team scores and our final thoughts from the Lifetime Fitness in Plymouth. More swimming on CCX after this.
I don't think we're free in this country. For 100 years, you saw Black people menaced and targeted and lynched and beaten and brutalized. I think we're burdened by this history. More people have to be willing to do that uncomfortable, inconvenient thing that justice requires for things to get better.
Truth can inspire change. Learn more at EJI.org.
John Jacobson with Chrissy Melson back here to wrap up our meet at Lifetime Fitness, and it's Eden Prairie, as we expected, winning tonight. Final score for the varsity, 118-67. The Eagles winning. They also won JV 96-81. But a win for Eden Prairie. And we've got to see 2 pool records here tonight set by Alex Deng of EP.
Yeah, one from 2007 and then one of his own from a couple of years ago.
Go ahead.
In Eden Prairie, like you said, an expected win here. They have an exciting few weeks ahead of them to get ready for sections in state.
Deng breaking the pool record in the 200 IM that was set by Kirk Carlson of Maple Grove in 2007, then breaks his own pool record from 2 years ago in the 100 breaststroke. So good luck to these teams at section. It's been great, as we mentioned during the girls season, to get a boys season in. Teams have been able to stay healthy for the most part, and we hope that continues here for the next few weeks and they can get through section meets. And then that state meet coming up the weekend of March 18th through the 20th at the University of Minnesota.
Right.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yep.
In a month.
My understanding is that the plan is to split the teams, so have half the teams compete one day and the other half another day. It'll be a timed finals meet compared to previous years where it's been a prelim final meet with everybody swimming one day. The next day, just the top 16 swimmers swimming. This time they're going to just do half the teams on one day, half on the other.
Christy, thanks for your work again tonight. We appreciate your help on our meet, and good luck to you with your business as you can train these fine athletes in swimming in all sports, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been great. It's been nice to see swimming getting some coverage for the last 6 months or so.
Congratulations to the Eagles for the win tonight. Again, they will compete in Section 2AA. In 3 weeks, Wayzata will be part of the 5AA meet, also 3 weekends from now. For Christy Melson and all of our great crew tonight here at Lifetime Fitness in Plymouth, I'm John Jacobson. Final score of varsity meet tonight, it's Eden Prairie over Wayzata, 118-67.